Hey there, mateys. This is Discovery Scouts of the Pirates of the Caribbean film series here. Today is Tuesday, February 21st, 2017. For the live shows and the TV shows of CBS Sports, Jimmy Kimmel Live, 11:35 p.m. on the ABC. K. Upton on the layover from Alexander Daddario. Certainly turn it up to the Furlanders. Think about it, about 18 minutes and 27 seconds a day, like a Captain, like a swimsuit 2017's illustrated with sex with Justin Furlander. He has been started about the spring practice about 2017 about 61 days to be started in about This is not the 61 days. It could be about supposed to do something about the 53 days of a later days for the captain. Her husband left behind, but he started to the practicing about her fans on the Detroit Tigers. That he started about the April 1st. It's proposed so it means to about the minutes of the second. But Justin knows about the excitement to see the Kates watching it on the April 5th and sending on to the TV shows of the CB Sports. And Ben just went out with Alex where she plays an enormous day with Henry Cavill from Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, the Justice League, the Captain Sylvester, and Justice League, and Sir Ben Kingsley from The Prince of Persia in 2010, and The Jungle Book plays Bagheera in the Disney films movie on the Walt Disney film on the Disneyland Resort California, and the Paris, France, and Disney World of Florida on Orlando. It looks certainly about the Instagram, the Heather 2022 Quinson. Let's go head outside. See, my brother's doing his homework. They're not gonna distract it. Whew. Get some air out. So let's go stand on the deck. Get some cool air. So once in the Kate Upton, what's the real life actions? Once in the fantastic on his Washington Justin Furlander's baseball field, but his brother Ben was it been about relationship. He was 25th. Whether Ben was in Vancouver, Canada, whether it's about with Alex with her friends. But certainly that she was a great 100 sexiest of this world. Her dog named Levon. He was a cute. Here is his terrier. Here's a bigger one. Here is a bigger. Looked like the medium, like a cutest one, like it's like a former Shih Tzu, or a Jack Russell Terrier white hair, like former Lucky, or rumor male like Corky. Didn't like it. My family didn't like it. We can't say anything. So it has to do the ones that are momentarily. But because the Kate's aftermath decided to playing the layover, and she was played for the second characters as Meg. For Alessandra, one of the first name Kate. And this is from the Kate, one of the great issues about the TV shows and movies on the white collar with Neil Caffrey with Matt Bomer, and Josh Brenner as David and Kate Winston. And the Kate was the brand new the layover and about movietheaters.com. That was the same the co-star from Logan Lerman's on Percy Jackson from film series. And they're doing 2010 to 2013. It didn't make it about the Titans Cursed and the film 3 movie. And Logan decides to the Sydney Halls from Michelle Monica from True Detective, The Path 1 season. It's the things about one of the shows about Hulu and HBO HBOs and stars from the channels things also be started. Also to be a lot of those started to be the agreements today. There's a lot of good things that shows about it. Every news as a channels today as a day. Well, let's go into the fact. Let's have the scenes about long stories about the community as in my service. As a minus, if he knows about a very motion, to be knows about it. He wasn't. No, she was pretended to be about sex with Justin. Was it about being like it, and it's about his friends. Her brother Justin was playing those. Was practicing doing focus scenes like about most intelligent in DNA. That his body was different ones, and again was it have been about training and gym. Also we do with his brother Ben. He also been about very different ones of the stories. That he is the one in the being engaged, got engaged about for the last 8 months. With this is about the wedding day, about the wedding, about his wife, her husband. And he was illustrated the most of the half issues about the detailed magazines, miscellaneous, and TV spots and clips, and those about the issues about the TV, about the trailers and full movies. It could be also to be started situations. My situation is also be having the most issues and knowing this stuff with each other. It could be made a mistake. It could be actually a normal time, and it could be having the most differently. Wherever he takes about a few months later, about they started about for the 5.5 months to be about 6 months. So I would say Justin Farlander, the siblings of his brother Ben, and her sister Allie here, was saying everything could be about the boyfriend and girlfriends and boyfriend, could be one of a status relationship, with could be situations. This relationships also been started, and really important, really the most in issues ever have been wanted. Justin says he's gotta learn the kids gotta do real sex. He had no idea he to look at it about former nude, former naked, former each of them and his brother Ben. What he literally just seems about illustrated with a swimsuit 2017. Where the Kate was sexiest, she was hot. She was the hardest things around the maximum of the world with Alexandra's. She was thinking about 2014 Vanity Fair. She was very naked on in the pool. And she was very harder than the How to Date about the 2014. Like the same thing like the same thing Ben, like former Logan Lerman and Dean Collins and Mike Rappaport. And sometimes same thing about the best stars about the movies, film version of Life Fantasy of Percy Jackson and the Fox 20th Century. And because we emphasize if a History's channel, and he was no, this is not a History channel. This is called the ABCs on the Jimmy Kimmel Live. That's the Ellen DeGeneres on the Live the Ellen shows on the 3:00 p.m. He shows us something about the Logan, Zach, and Chris Evans, Elizabeth Olsen, and Hugh Jackman, and Luke Evans, and Orlando Bloom. He was considerations of what I heard about. He heard about the ones quieter to say yes. So what can I say? Alessandro Daddario and Kay Upton were playing the layover, and Wilson decided about Carl Penn from Harold Kumar trilogy. To 2004 to 2011, it was their idea, most of you have about every most illustrated and Vanity Fair on Details magazines and miscellaneous, and the candid appearance, like in the most photo shoots for the Photoshop with the fans, the fan site, and Cordy there for the Dario's fan sites, Leva Rambins, and Kate Upton'S, and Logan Lerman's on the fan sites, and the coordinator to the History Channel for the last 3.5 years. When the Logan and Alex went there about the New York City on the whistle, and how about to talk to you about the clip of the Percy Jackson corruptors like the Kraken's mouth, like a sea monster, like a Pirates of the Caribbean, dead man's chest, and through a sea of monsters like corruptors, like Percy said that's a corruptors, and Jack Sparrow's face to face like a beastie, like Harperdus, like a mouth do. He kills the Jack. He died at about the mid 1740s. They drag down the pearls to the depths to the floor. There were certainly, when the Cracker's mouth, he was roaring. He was teeth like jaws. The powerful things about the tentacles in this world, tentacles around the legendary, the myth of the sea monsters. Even though most of the swimmers think all things a lot. That the every illustrated think about the hot girls things ever. I noticed things about the guys didn't like it about very good interesting. My brother did to say, "What the hell are you talking about? What the hell are you talking about? I don't like it hot girls." My sister said about it too. Sister says too. "I don't like very hot girls. I don't like Alessandra. I don't like Kate." Well, she didn't think so about exactly supposed to did that about the two siblings did like the hot girls, the hot boys. He was a bit liking those and been interesting about my advanced, liking most of them about the very most harder, selfish, arrogant, and stupidity. As she was looking at them on the magazines, on the Kate's swimsuit 2017, like covering like a chest, and there was a inappropriate from her boobs. She was covered with the arms and the hands on it, and she was covered with his hands on it with the guys. They were sort of like rumored ridiculous. It was just looks like about very the most illustrative and interesting. Like a Kate and Justin seemed to me to watch the living on the Detroit, like the Detroit. He lives it about love of the Dallas Cowboys or Detroit Lions, even about Detroit Tigers, even the most ado. If you like Lakeland Flying Tigers, where Living with Ben lives there for the Lakeland, Florida, he would love that for the Flying Tigers onto the fans, like a gamers. Could be also we do something about the little such things. When the Ben went out for where Alessandra was, same thing about with the best friends thing that she was about for the last 15 years. Alessandra was. He was a younger, about 16. I was a 7. So I was in my mom's place. She was about 42. My dad has the 45. He was been about 2002. My grandfather passed away in 2002. He just remembered that about the long stories. He was just interested about 6 years past for the last time, But he drives it around like about my brother, the sister did, and my dad did. He was about reporter thing about a very good, interesting. From the minimum for the issues that about the most important things and those who we're thinking about. The minds are good, the interesting about my mom's things, about the very most of my family's things, about the very interesting about ignorance. But so once it happened 16 years ago, when my mom Aunt Shanae was in the name of a Korean name Emo, was my name means Aunt Shanae, my Aunt Shang. and his sons Chris and Justin and his wife Corey, and my uncle was left behind about 16 years less. My dad and I and my brother and sister and my cousin Chris and Justin and my sister Isabella here was went out for the 16 years less for a long time. But we've driven to the Crescent City on the foggy through the Pacific Ocean on the coast over the water. I went out for walking there. It was below and it was billowing. They went into the sea, recorded it to his videos on 2001. And my dad's just filming on in 2001, the oldest filming in a long time. The one thing I have for the video, one thing I have recorded there, those are the videos and send it to the tapes on, or the mostly DVDs and the good bit of things on the CDs plays. We can watch it in my family thing for a long time, about 16 through 15 years. When the mid 2001 to the summer vacations, those in my family was driving through the San Francisco, crossing it on the way to the Golden Bridge on the San Francisco, with the bay as the nose is driving around like about 300,000 traffic around the state. When we went there from the Oregon from Washington for here to the California, so we've spent the night the one day after wall from the hotel there. So one thing, my dad's just woke up there. He was to be filming there, and my mom or her friends, my aunt Shanae, my mom or her friend named Shanae and Chris and Justin, my brother and sister was sleepy. I was sleeping there. All of this 5 of them together. What were the name of sayings? Everything. We'll have to see everything. So we could continue to go out for to those interesting things about my mother's and new friends there, about the Hollywood on Universal Studios there. We went there to take pictures on the Chris and Justin, his mom Shanae. She seems to me about the photo shoot. She sent it to his dad named Uncle Corey. This is my uncle, his dad. My uncle wasn't the name of the mention there, but he mentioned about the same thing about Universal Studios. So I ride there for about Jurassic Park thing. I was scared. I was a little kid. So I've been waiting for a lot of them about good interesting. I've been waiting for the last year. It was a worrying to thinking about very good interesting. I was been brought there about Jurassic Park drink there, like a Sprite, like a soda. It was been a lot, all the things a lot, and when I think Jurassic Park the ride there, I was scared of the dark out there. I was 6, so I was a little kid. It was a good a lot of things about Jurassic Park thing, like Tyrannosaurus Rex. There are no such things like mention a rumored male like Spinosaurus. Even though Tyrannosaurus Rex, that's the two T-Rexes inside there, like it about electronics like electric T-Rex, like eating a lot of the humans or herbivores, even the smaller, larger carnivores. So I was just scared. I was about splashing those things in the water. It looks about 30,000 gallons of water. It's also we know about every most interesting in this world. It could be reminding me. One of the things that they emphasize in the quarter of the mind and the minds are called interesting. So one we have about the Universal Studio back in the future. Those in my dad's just seen stuff before. For the night that there was it have been following to be continued, like it takes the 8 hours later. I went into the Jaws, like the giant great white shark. It was the fake, like about his body, the teeth. I ran a little bit. I was a little bit scared. I was a little kid. I decided to seem about the driving through the Los Angeles, like in the Manhattan like the cities, to the Anaheim Disneyland, where we were searching for hotels. When one day we spent a night here, we were kids a long time ago. So my dad just literally just filming his wife and my mother, his friends, and name her my mother's friends, and Chris and Justin and Frankie and Bella and me was sleep a lot. Um, we're and they were going where we went out for the Disneyland resort to being the one of about taking about 10 hours for later, 12 hours later. Those things about ever since about the Disneyland. Tonight is a parade of 2001. The one of the things about the Disney resort here, one of the parades do, all of them allotted about 30,000 people in the world, 30,000 people on the city. And this one should be the communicating. One of the things about Pirates of the Caribbean, the ride, I was a kid. I kind of liked it the first time, but when a roller coaster, when the same thing about roller coaster, like the Rocky Mountain, like the desert, like Arizona, and the Space Mountain, and the one of the shows about the Splash Mountain. It looked like a very good riddance in there about a great entrance, the greatest things ever we were taking about most issues, most of the things ever we were taking about a few days later. All the things to know about it, according there to my dad's speech. He was listening to enough of there. It was a good one of the riddance things. We also have about the administration about the reservation to the car to the driving everywhere. That takes about the 2 weeks vacations on the 2001. My mom and dad, my aunt Janelle, and Chris and Justin, my brother and sister Frankie and Bella, and me. It would take the field trip to the Oregon. It would take the trip to California to Nevada on 2 weeks in 2001, and the summer vacation, and about 16 years later, and about that long ago. But we arrived at the San Diego on the SeaWorld. My dad usually I was a very good register about the great interesting about the orca, about seeing most of them. It's a very long time that my brother and I and Chris and Justin and my dad was riding around like water circling around. It was a very, very most funny. It was about in the 15 years pranking funny in 2001. It was a fun and pranking. It was the greatest things that ever we have to do something. It was it was a soaking wet, just a little bit. Well, most of it seems like orca have mostly have the orca whales there. There's a scene announced like a killer whales and dolphins, and it seems like an announcer, so like assembly, like great Jurassic Park there, like about if it's just a fake velociraptor. It's harder and most harder. A lot of people in the crowd in there, they're sitting around being excited to be in a run announcement like an assembly outdoors on the SeaWorld. We were walking around to take a lot of pictures on the bridge there, the crossing there, the river crossing there, the waters in my world. It could be like the humpback whales on the ocean, the deeper of the depths. I wanted to be my excitement to see it about so much appreciated on the Hollywood Universal Studios, Anaheim, Disneyland, Disney California Adventures, and San Diego Fun Rise today. As today we know some of it very most of the everydays of the community and my mom's friends, and Chris and Justin, my brother, sister, and I, my father. So we drive into the Las Vegas, Nevada on about 95 degrees outside with the hot. It's mostly we're spending the night the one day as we remembering. As the MGM, the lion habitat just today, as a day, I was scared. I was a little kid. I was looking at where I was scared. There's the African lion, the lioness, and the male lion. And my mom said she saved my life from the fake. She was in the faker glass. She didn't make it. She was eating a lot. She look up there like a human. She looks like the lioness just eating and busy, and the male was just considerations about very good interesting. For my mother, she was at 41. She was to shape my life, and she loved a very good interesting. So all the things about a very good my family there. And she was singing along the songs and stand around. And she was celebrating about the concert in 2001. My dad was filming with my mother, his wife or her husband. My witness and the reason I have it sort of to do. And the rest of the whole life of my baddest things and the idea. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't the same everything. We have to do something. We eat a lot for breakfast, or we messed up for breakfast in 2001. We have a lunch there about a long time ago. For the 16 years more than the less than about the last long ago. I want to think of the last one, last a couple of about 14 days of the week. My dad and my mother, my Aunt Shanae, Chris and Justin, Bella, Frankie, and I was supposed to do. I was just staying. Yoshi was staying behind in the house. It could be one of the same. Uncle Corey was mentioned that, but it could be about a lot of those things. It's also for the first time having nothing to see. Well, let's gonna have a say. My family, we riding on the boat under the San Francisco on the Golden Bridge. A look straight to the sunrise on the ocean, crossing the bay for the crossing the bay of San Francisco. Is what we gonna do is we're boating. We're returning around the memorabilities. We were boating around about 20 minutes to decide. If every coordinator for about filming about the most interesting, he hasn't wanted to term someone's moment. And mind the 20,000, minus some of you guys. Well, let's gonna say San Francisco's Bay of the boats. We ride on the boat. It's very most of the beautiful and awesome, cute, good, and so hot, pretty awesome. I was a little kid. It was so much awesome. It's so much appreciated. It would be awesome a day. So we driven back home. We said goodbye. We're having fun. We went back home for the 14 days. So thank you so much. I appreciate it about the 15 about 15 and a half years about the summer vacation in 2001. Most of them, my mom and dad, and my family and I, the Christian Justin, my cousins, my aunt named Shanae, and most of you have the subscribers today. So follow along on the tape and DVDs. My family is. That's worried about the summer vacation on 14 days and 2 weeks. So thank you very much, appreciated. So to be continued on Upton'S today. So today is the day Justin Fernandez on the spring practice on baseball field. We're going to start it. They're going to start it on the Detroit Tigers, watching on Ben Fernandez on Lakeland Flying Tigers on the spring practice. We have to go into seeing about the Justin Fernandez on the Lakeland Flying Tigers and Detroit Tigers. They seem to look like Kate Upton'S, and the Fernandez, it seems like Alessandra and her friend. They're back in there. Back in time. We need to do is one of those things, is such as this thing, a very great moment. And she takes a lot of photo shoots on in the last 5 years for Logan Lerman on Percy Jackson, the second movie. That was fun. That was the most very fun. Is we really most to do also the great interesting. If you love it, you have to learn. We have to go out for spring vacation and summer vacations. If you do, we do on a winter vacation. We learn about the days of later, the winter, the spring, the summer vacations. So thank you very much for the coming in about the inspirations of my family on the 15 about long time ago. We talked about the 2001 and the My Family's Vacations through the 2 weeks and the 2 weeks to the California and Nevada and San Francisco, Hollywood, Anaheim, and San Diego, and Las Vegas, Nevada, and MGM and Lion Habitat. So thank you so much. I appreciate it coming, guys. So don't forget to subscribe to some more content. Follow on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Google, find situation live stream, gaming channels, Jody Store, Elman, New Jersey State, Costa Story Talk, Tom Alel, Hangouts on the Play Store. Follow links description of friends. There is Majugga Nuggets, Big Brother, Jordy Star Barker, Kid Behind the Camera, Bridget West, The Angry Grandpa Shows, Grandpa's Corner, The Psycho Dad, Larry's Lounge, Joe Bum, and Psycho Aunts, Psycho Uncles, Psycho Mom, and Melissa, Manicorn, Julie Riley, Manicorn, Crocodile Buzz, and Mark Lucasen, Julie Riley, and Zachary Dinkler, Parker Sipple on YouTube channels, and those are the same. And Team Creed, Bo Scott, Reagan Dad, Tony Tornado as Crazy Boyfriend, The Amanda Jean Shows, Crazy in Love, Derrodiso dated with Facilita, Life of Moko and Boog, Space Jam Gardens, Cupid Guy, The Cupid Guy Life, Cupid Guy Life, Nest Boog, The Boog Show, Roma Atwood Wings, Jackson O'Doherty, and Xiaomi TV, Home on TV, and Senator Today, and Alexander Lerman, Logan Lerman, Brandy T. Jackson, Leva Rambin, Jeb Herrick, Ali Wood, and Jake Aba, Douglas Smith, Allison Didera, Topic Forever, Alex Anna, Carlton, Ben and Justin Farlander, and Margaret Robbie, Hannah Calvin, Ben Affleck, Amy Adams. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, guys, and the rest of you guys. So, all of you, thank you guys for coming in, guys. So feel free to death. So don't forget. So keep it rich, mateys.